go. You are on TV, Jamie.
Oh, that's great. I think I put on my mask, huh?
You
We're good?
we're good.
All
We're
right,
good here.
What a pain in the ass.
All right. All right, we'll officially open the public hearing at, time we got 8:04.
Make sure you welcome everybody in.
Yeah, I will. Getting a little bit late start here, had some live streaming issues. So we're having a public hearing here for, it's actually Keuka Management Group, LLC. They do business as Keystone Custom Decks. I'd like to welcome everyone that's here. I'm Steve Griffin, the CEO of the Finger Lakes Economic Development Center. Mike LaPerry is here from our office as well, and so far we have one guest, Mr. Sisson, Town Supervisor for the Town of Jerusalem. Reason we're having, I'll do a brief overview of the project. The reason we're having the public hearing is it is state law that if we have a project where our incentives go over projected to go over $100,000, we have to have a public hearing before the board can give formal approval or not on it. In this case, we're not quite at that level, but we were close enough to where we thought it was better safe than sorry, and hold it anyways. So Keystone Custom Decks is projecting or looking to build a 4,800 square foot building used for offices, indoor showroom, and shop space. The showroom and office area will occupy roughly a 60 by 48 foot section of the building. The physical project location is 2868 Route 54A, Keuka Park, New York. And they came to us looking for tax incentives. The proposed project capital investment is projected to be $750,000. They are projecting to create 8 jobs over the next 3 years on this project. In our, we have a database we subscribe to that we can plug in a project, and it will give us sort of the downstream effects of the projects itself. It calculates what indirect or sort of suppliers to the project, and induced jobs, which are jobs that might be created through local establishments because of a project like this. And it calculated there would be 1 each of those created thanks to this project. They will let's see, so $750,000 is the total project cost, looking at 8 direct jobs, another 2 indirect and induced. The proposed incentives, we are looking at $20,000 in sales tax savings, $6,000 in a mortgage tax exemption, and property tax abatement of $72,384, bringing the total community investments, if you will, or the tax abatements to $98,384.49. Pretty close to $100,000, so that's why we had the meeting. If you add in the projected payroll that the company is going to be expending with the jobs created, you add in the cumulative pilot taxes paid during the period of time and their capital investment, you will see a grand total of $5,821,096 on this project. That is a 59-to-1 company investment to community investment ratio. So it's from that ratio, it's one of the higher ones we see here. So it's a good project from that aspect. We will take, with that in mind, the pilot, I should mention the pilot is a 10-year pilot. It starts out at a 100% abatement on the increased assessed value for the first year and decreases 10% every year for 10 years. The sales tax exemption goes on the materials that goes into the construction project itself, and then terminates. The mortgage tax is just on the mortgage that is the money being borrowed to build the facility. So with that, we will take any comments from the public if there are any, and if not, we'll sit here and enjoy each other's company for a while. soil and water comes out, do they inspect the culverts, or they just do it? Okay.
Yeah, and they size them for us
Okay.
and things of that nature. That's their expertise. Colby Peterson.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of culvert pipe road on that Westlake Rose, East Bluff, West Bluff.
Yeah.
I think Colby said something about 130.
It's amazing, like, remember just one point coming back from a youth tournament somewhere going on 54, coming back from like Bath or something like that, and my son was bored and started counting how many
Right.
there were, and the number I don't remember how many he came up with on that stretch, but it's.
Just going down,
it's-
say, 54, did he just count the gullies?
Mhm.
Yeah, that he could see, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it is amazing.
Yeah, it's like every, I don't know, it's every couple hundred feet anyways.
Yeah, I had to escort the, state president last year for the Elks Club when he did his visitation to the southern tier. So we were coming from, Elmira to Penn Yan for lunch. And so they wanted to go down 54 just to see the lake. And it was amazing, and that was one of the things that they pointed out was, oh my God, look how many gullies come into this place, cause you can see all the V's, you
Yeah.
know, as you go down through, and, you know, when you drive the whole, 22 miles of the lake, it is, you don't, I guess most of the time you don't really realize it, because you're doing 55 miles an
Right.
hour, you're looking straight ahead,
Yeah.
and, you know, but, they were counting it, and yeah, it's a lot.
He was in the hundreds. I
Yeah.
just don't remember how far up he got.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And now maybe interestingly enough, he's
Yeah, right.
he's at Clarkson going for engineering.
Oh, good.
And he thinks he's leaning towards civil, which was a bit of a surprise to me. He's mentioned it before, but so just from some of the classes he's taken, he thinks he's
Just like it.
yeah, he likes the kind of the structural
Mhm.
aspect and. There's gotta be a marketing pitch there, like the gully capital of the world. More gullies per square mile than. Probably wouldn't be that, I mean. You don't see that many on Seneca.
Yeah, I've never looked, but Seneca's hard to look from one side to the other also,
Yeah.
you know.
You got the cliffs on the.
Yeah, there's a lot of cliff there.
There's a lot of areas
Yeah,
too, so.
right.
There's a lot of lake that can't be used, you know, or,
Per square mile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gets it-
Right.
We can find the statistics and we can work. Guess I should probably also say, back to the public hearing, if there are any comments to be had, we will share them with our board of directors at our next meeting before they make their final decision.
well, I'll put in some input. I think it's going to be good. It's, does the town of Jerusalem lose tax revenue? Well, of course we do. But better yet, we're gaining a business on the Route 54A corridor, which is the reason why that land was set aside for things of this nature. I think he'll be very honest, and he won't try to jerk the system. And I think it'll do well for the community. And as a resident on the lake, he will also be doing work for me in the spring, in
Nice.
March of '22.
You do some nice stuff. They're showing.
He does.
It's
He really
impressive.
does.
Really impressive.
I don't have time to do it, with everything I got going, so
Yeah.
I sat through some of the planning board and zoning board meetings, and, I think I can put up with that much negativity, then, I was all for them. I would've ran. You know, people, they got different opinions of what should be on the, 54A corridor, but it's all spelled out, you know, in the zoning, but.
Well, there's probably some fear too. I wasn't at those, but our board asked, what's gonna be built there? Is it like a construction shop? And
Well,
I showed them,
actually,
like, it's gonna be a showroom, so
it's
it's
gonna
gonna
be a
look
showroom,
really, really
yes.
nice. Yes, there will be a shop aspect to it, but.
You know, some of the questions were, how much parking? Well, he'll need a lot less parking than what a Lion Smith brewery needed. And Lion Smith's wasn't large enough parking to begin with. So if you can allow a brewery, you should be able to allow this and it's a nice looking building.
Yeah,
too.
I think there'll be, once it gets in there. And I started mentioning to him, you know, he's got a lot of land there, we need housing.
Mhm.
Let's see what we can do with the rest of it. And of course, you know, I'm sure you're aware how it works, Amy, but the pilot, he will be making tax
Mhm.
payments.
Right, right.
So whatever's there now, he's gonna make a payment
Mhm.
on, so it's just foregoing
Right.
the additional revenues for a little
Yep.
bit.
Which is understandable. I think it's promoting, and I think promoting that business, I think he's gonna do very well once he gets into a place where people can see his stuff,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
Like when you have to bring a brochure to somebody's home.
Right.
That makes it difficult when you
Sure.
don't have something to show them, and it's kind of difficult to say, well, I did this job over here, you know, those people may not want you coming, you know,
Right.
using their house for a showpiece. They don't want people
Right,
traipsing
just
around,
constantly
especially
walking
during
in.
a pandemic era, you
Yeah.
know? Nobody wants anybody on their land. And then he can get all of his people in one place too, instead of, you know, I think he's got some that are working at home and things of that nature.
Mhm. Tell my phone's getting old. Battery doesn't last very long anymore. It was doing fine, all of a sudden, now it goes down quickly.
I think, I don't know if they can do that.
I just think
I just think you get to a time, a certain time limit, and I think they're made to only last
Right.
so long.
Yeah.
And then it's up to you whether it's a pain in the butt for you to charge it a couple of times a day.
Right.
I don't think they really care.
No.
But if it annoys somebody enough, they're going to go and get another phone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. I could go, well, it's like everyone would get their phone, like, easily all day without any
Mhm.
worries, and now it's a couple hours.
Yeah,
And that
'cause
happened quick.
My phone, yeah, depending on what you were doing, yeah, you could kill it in a couple of hours, but then Ginny and I went and got new phones. Well, mine had some problem, it happened while we were in Florida, and the whole thing just, like, shut down. Had to go to a Verizon store and have the guy get it up and running, but then I lost all my data and stuff. They had some word for it, I don't know what the hell happened, but So then when we got back, we got a new phone, but we missed the sale. Now I see it's back again.
Yeah.
I'm very disappointed, because now people are getting these free phones, they just hand in theirs, they get a free phone.
Yep.
And we missed that. We got, I think we got, maybe 150 off of each phone or something. It's like, geez, because we didn't know how long it lasted. I was in Canandaigua, and I had to make a phone call, and I looked, and my phone was, had no battery. So I stop into the store over there, and I get a charger, because I hadn't unpacked my stuff from vacation, so my phone charger was in my knapsack, and so I got a new one, and this guy said, well, we have this thing going right now, you know, I'll give you a call, but he never called, so then I forgot, but, so then you go down, I see the commercial, but it had just ended, and by the time we got down there, that promotion wasn't going. Very disappointing. These phones are, like everything else, they're very expensive now for
Yeah.
what you get out of them. You know, you get a couple of years for, you know, $1,000 or
$1,000,
what
yeah.
have you.
Yeah, they're more
That's
expensive,
crazy.
more expensive than a laptop now.
Yeah,
I guess they can do more things. They can,
And it's all on your hand,
Right.
instead of convenience, and hard to take a picture with a laptop.
I should know this. Do you have new code?
we do.
Okay.
Yeah, Bill Gerhardt is our new code enforcement zoning officer. He's like 25.
Yeah, is he really?
His grandson, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, a very, very smart kid.
Yeah, I know Bill.
He's caught on very quickly.
Good
He
for
went to
him.
school for,
He was engineering of some kind.
yeah, some type of mechanical engineer, yeah. So, you know, he had a lot of the blueprint stuff down, and he got tired of traveling, which, that's not for everybody, you
Right.
know? I mean, I traveled for 25+ years, either to Rochester or wherever,
Mhm.
you know? Because there weren't many union jobs or union buildings going up in Penn Yan. In 25 years, I had 2 jobs, both of them at the hospital, you know, that was it.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's,
Good for him. I didn't know that.
yeah, and then
His
we
wife's
got a new
working for the
assessor.
village, so.
We got Terry Quinin, I never, say her last name, Kowinski or Koninsky or something. But she's doing very well too. She did a lot of data collection for us
Okay.
for like the past 4 years or so. Yep. Very, very pleased with our decisions.
Good.
I was a little disappointed, I mean, we only had 3 candidates for code enforcement, but that could be because not a lot of people wanna take
It's
on
a
that
tough-
job.
it's a tough job. It's a
You gotta
tough
be the
job.
bad guy if something's
You
wrong,
bet.
you know? And if somebody doesn't mow or clean up their yard, you gotta be that bad guy.
Yeah.
You know, and most generally, you know, some people are just lazy, but then other people can't afford,
Right.
you know, to get rid of things, and so there's a fine line there.
Yeah, it's a tough, it's not for everyone,
Sometimes
that's
just
for sure.
pointing them in the correct direction so that they can get a little bit of help, and then work with them,
Yeah.
you know, to get it cleaned up.
Billy's he's a nice guy, so I would
Yes.
assume even in tough situations, he'll be able to relate.
Well, he's even,
Mm.
you know, naturally our code says what you're supposed to do. But he came up with another process to make it a little bit easier
Good.
for people and for himself, which is nice. You know, sometimes when you get, you know, you get new blood, you get new eyes,
Yeah.
they look at things a little bit differently. You know,
Yeah.
this code was put out in 1972, you know,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
you can tweak things a little bit to make it a little
Sure.
easier.
say it goes till 8:30, right? I think that's what it said on the site. Give it 5 more minutes, see if anyone else shows up.
Yeah, it looks like there's quite a draw this morning.
More than we normally get.
One more than normal. Well, good. At least you have something to put down today.
Yep.
I guess I would say that various town supervisors usually try to get there, usually try to make it. Depends on where we have it too. Like
Mhm.
we're spoiled here because we have to have it in the town, of course,
Right.
where it's happening, so we can sort of cheat and have it here, and a lot of the other times we'll have it at the town
Right, town hall.
So. Add some more chords to the chaos.
There's room to pull that closer to you if you need to.
Oh, wait, because you're gonna head back to the
Okay.
office probably.
Yeah.
No, I'll just wait till you leave then. Not as much chaos. Full day of meetings today.
Oh, that's always right.
And one right after the other. Couple more minutes here. Just gotta. Oh, what happened? Send. A good response from the state on Struble.
Oh, yeah, good.
Project can be modified. Gotta submit in writing new proposal. High level budget, future plans to complete. Funds can be reallocated to another DRI.
Awesome.
Find some infrastructure money for me, wouldn't you?
Well, isn't that part of what the?
Part of this, if it ever gets passed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got from, we're getting some stimulus money, so we're pinpointing that for Indian Pines to continue to finish that loop that was never finished, cause Ritchie
Oh.
Boulevards, they don't have sewer. And
Oh, really?
for 25 years, they've been waiting for sewer.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's,
And nobody has 100 foot of soil between the back of their house and the marsh. It seems as though that area has been forgotten about. Maybe because it just goes to Seneca Lake.
Real quick, it's 8:30. Having no other attendees show, I will close the public hearing and thank everyone for their participation.